What's up guys, Steve here from Warrior Planet Tanks, and today is makeover day. This right here, hot mess. It's actually one of my transformation holding tanks for plants that I get in shipments for customers. Sometimes they'll come in immersed, and I'll go ahead and transform them for the customer just to help with their success rate, so they don't get discouraged and want to keep using plants. So I ain't got nothing else to do. These guys been sitting in here for a while, and it's just like having a puppy, you know. They start to grow on you and you're like, you know what, I don't want to sell it. So this is about to change, and I'm gonna share it with you. So sit tight. Today we're gonna have a good one. Okay, so we got it broke down, got it drained, got most of the plants out. I left a few of the fish in there. And real quick, we finna just go over some of the hardscape I'm gonna throw in here and some plants. So this is a concept tank. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a few different kinds of swords that I got in that I'm not going to sell. I've decided I'm not going to sell them. I have other ones in the grow room. And I'm going to use some crypt that I got that I've been wanting to grow for a long time. And it's already transformed. It melted. It's starting to come back. This is Cryptocrine undulatus. It's a really nice crypt. And I got some nice wood, some stones, different few kinds of Anubias, real low tech, nothing, no big deal, but we're gonna arrange it up and see what we got. Okay, so before I start scaping, I want to show you guys my mise en place. And if any of you fellow culinarians or chefs are watching, y'all know what a mise en place is. It's basically setting up everything you got before you get started so you can roll. So I got my trusty dusty apron on, got my little towel, and then let's flip over here. I got my blanket to keep from making a mess, all my scape work, my water, peroxide, buckets, etc. so we can actually get this thing on the road. I always do the hardscape first when I'm scaping a tank, simply because it makes sense, A, and B, it's like the skeleton, it's the backbone of your layout. And this really isn't going to be a scape as much as it is a concept tank. Because like I said, I'm really not too crazy about scaping. But I do like nice arrangements of plants. I think of it as gardening in a box filled with water, if that makes any sense. A lot of people say opposite. I don't have any particular motive. I'm really just shotgunning it, shooting it from the hip, and seeing what we come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This stone is just regular cobble. It's locally sourced. Didn't pay a penny for it, and it works really well. I've cleaned it. It's got a real nice color to it, if you can see. I use peroxide, and I use a little bit of bleach. Hot water, and let it chill for a minute. And for all you people who think about bleach, let's think about tap water, something that we drink. I don't. I use spring water, but tap water has chlorine and chloramines in it. You're drinking it. Okay, what does it have to do with fish? Well, if you're using a dechlorinator like this, it removes chlorine. So you can use bleach to clean your decorations, especially some of you people that have the plastic decorations, the plastic plants, like stuff like this, gets algae on it. Spray it with a little bleach, brush it off with a toothbrush, rinse it well, and it's good to go back in your tank. If you're worried about your fish dying, add some dechlorinator. You're good to go. Trick of the trade. So we're going to go ahead and start our scaping. Let's get our rock work going and get our wood and see where we get. I like to put my rocks in first. And yes, this is a kitchen towel. I like my hands clean. But I like to put my rock work in first. And what I'll do is I'll just play with it. I'll get them in there all, or as many as I can. And then I'll play with it a little bit to kind of gauge how I'm going to feel about it. And then I just go from there. And these guys are heavy. Keep in mind that you're working with heavy stuff, glass and water. So just add a little bit of care. There's nothing worse than having a slippery rock slip out of your hand and pop a hole in a tank. I mean, that'll make you want to call the 1-800 hotline. That's all I'm going to say about that. So that's why I always scrub them real good and make sure that you don't have any slippery algae. Plus it's just regular upkeep and maintenance, which you should be doing anyway. I'll let this one go. And I really didn't want to make this video, to be honest with you, but this is one of them life happens fish tanks. So I got a lot of crazy personal stuff going on. I won't really go into it in detail too much, but you know, life happens. And I'm not one of those people, you know, I'm loyal, I'm dedicated. I mean, just because I got kicked in the nuts by life doesn't mean you're going to find any of my tanks on Craigslist anytime soon. I promise you that. I told you I've been doing this since I was 9. And life's been happening, obviously, ever since then. So I'm just getting on the level of the tank right now. Plus, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm just really just looking to see where I'm going to go with this thing. Now, I left the Echinodoros blairi in here, just a regular Amazon sword. And I'm leaving him in there because he's about to get some friends. So I'm actually scaping this tank, or laying this tank out, I should say, around one sword plant, which I've done that before and I'm okay with it. So this plant really is dictating how the rest of this scape is going to flow, and that's kind of what I like about doing this, is because you can pretty much do whatever you want and you always come out with cool stuff. So I'm looking, and I'm really not digging where those rocks are. I'm not digging how they're going to flow with the wood. And I got some really good manzanita wood here. This actually came from ADG out in Houston. I had them pick me out some nice pieces, and they shipped it all the way up here to Hampton Roads for me. So thank you guys for doing that. I'm using your stuff. So I'm going to just throw that wood in there. It's got a little duckweed on it, but I'll show you what to do about that here in a second. A shipment of plants I got in last year, a couple months ago, a few of the pots had duckweed inside the rock wool, and what turned into a few floaties in one of my grow tables turned into a full-blown infestation, and I've gotten rid of most of all of it. But it's one of those things, it's a love-hate relationship. Some people love it, I don't mind it, but when it's costing me money, I can't stand it. So I got the manzanita wood in here, and now I'm just going to try to let this thing take its form. I'm not going to put these glass tops back on here. I'm going to retire them, and I'm going to throw a LED strip on here to upgrade the lighting a little bit, but this tank's still pretty much going to be low tech. There's just 2 HOB filters on here, and there's no heat. I'm probably going to add a heater at a later time after they settle in, but this one actually, this sword's been growing at room temperature the whole time, and it's doing great. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing scaped out, and then I'll meet you guys back right here. So I got all my plants ready to go, scapes in, and I kind of jumped the gun, but really I didn't mount. I got 3 kinds of Anubias in here. I got, or actually 2, I'm sorry. I got Barterii round leaf, and I got Nanji in there. So it is 3 types. But I didn't mount them. I kind of just wedged them in between these 2 rocks without making it sound too complicated. That's how they grow, and I got it positioned that way anyway too, because that's where the return is on one of the filters. So they attach, they grow good that way. I usually would mount them to the hardscape, but I'm not going to do that in this case. I've done this You know, I've been doing this for the longest anyway, before people got all crazy with the super glue and the black thread and the green thread, the fishing line, whatever. And it works just fine. So that's what I did with those. So now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start planting some of these cryptocrine in here. And then I'm going to go to my sword. So I got, like I said, this is Crypt undulatus. I'm going to go ahead and start plopping this in. You guys just hang out. What I'm doing is I'm just trimming some of these unnecessary roots, which is perfectly fine. All it does is stimulate growth. These actually came in bunches, and I kind of separated them, if you can see that, and put a little rubber band on there to keep the stems together. And then you can see that I've had them transforming for a while, which means I let them melt from their immersed state and then grow back. And that's all new root growth and some of the substrate that was already in this tank. They're just going right back in. Now a lot of people use those lead plant weights, which those work good too, but rubber bands are biodegradable, so after a while they'll dissipate and go away. It's non-toxic, and they're a lot cheaper. I mean, you can get rubber bands anywhere. Keep the ones that you get from your fish bags. That's what these are. The ones that you get from your fish bags when you buy your fish, just keep those, and you can use those to put your bunch plants together, and it works out real good. The substrate I'm using is a product called GroPro. You can look it up online. It's pricey, I'm not gonna lie, but I like it. I really like it. This particular type is called GroPro Black Diamond. They have several colors. I like dark substrate. I'm partial to it. I just think it just adds it to the pop. I didn't mean to do that. To the pop that your plants have. And it's just really nice. Okay, so now I got that in there, and I want to look at it. And from here it looks okay. I see what's going on. And what that's going to do is, this is a flow return area. So the water's going to hit this rock. It's going to make that move, and it's going to give the flow that it needs to stimulate the growth of the anubias, so it'll cling to the rocks like it does in its natural state, where you'll find it in Africa, where this plant actually comes from. So moving right along, we're going to start throwing in some of our bigger swords, and I'll just show you a few that I'm using. So I told you I got the red flamed, and it's got 2 leaf growth forms on here. So you got the immersed, which is out of water, and this is actually a new underwater leaf right here. So we're going to start plugging those guys. And I almost forgot, when you're planting swords are greedy, and they need to have their substrate fertilized. And a lot of old heads will make their own root tabs, which is totally fine if you have the time to do that. I don't have time to do that no more. It's just faster to run to the store and buy some root tabs. I'm not plugging these people, but I told you guys I do use a lot of CChem products because I trust them, and they're easy to get, relatively inexpensive, but most importantly, they work. So the rule of thumb for these guys, this is what it looks like. It's just fertilizer. The rule of thumb is 1 tab for every 6 inches of aquarium space. I just kind of eyeball it. I know where they need to go, and I just put them in there. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're scared you're gonna mess it up, which you really can't, it's 1 per 6 inches. The less the better, because you're gonna be dosing anyway. This is just insurance to give your roots that healthy kickstart that they need. So I'm gonna go ahead and plunk those in there, especially where I know I'm gonna be having a sword. And you don't want to put it too close to the plant. You want them to work for it too. You don't want to burn them. So I'm just going to throw these in here real quick, and then we'll get back to planting. And yes, the counter is still going. Actually, I'm doing pretty good today. I think I just jinxed myself. But we should be fine. Okay, so we're going to get these swords in here. And I got a few different ones. I got this nice green ozelot. It's OZELOT, not ocelot. It's a really nice one. This one's already starting to transform too, so it's ready to go. These came in potted, and as you can see, all I did was remove the rock wool, snip the roots a little bit, and you see there's a little bit of rock wool left on here. That's really, it ain't gonna hurt nothing, but you do want to remove as much as you can. And I'm just gonna stagger these in here, but this is gonna be the background of this aquarium. And I'm not using pin sets to plant these. I'm using my hand. I like to be able to feel. I like to get it in there and make sure that I have the crown deep enough in the substrate, but I don't want to bury the crown. And here we have a melon sword that's going in, and I'm going to give this one a trim. I like to go in the crown of the plant, and I'll actually push down on that with my index finger ever so gently, and then I'll kind of just mold the substrate around the plant. The only reason I'm doing it this way is because this tank is partially filled. Obviously, if I was doing from the ground up with just moist substrate, I could just dunk them in. It'd actually be a lot faster, but when you're already rolling with water, it's a little bit different. And I'm already starting to like the way that this guy is starting to look and take shape. So we got another red flame. I'm doing two. If you haven't figured it out, I'm going to do. So what we got is, we got a red flame over here in the corner. We got the ocelot right here. We got the Blairheath, the regular Amazon sword right here. And then we got a melon over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get another red flame back over here in the background. I think that'll really give a nice effect. I'm already liking the way that this thing is starting to come along. I'm excited. We're going to work a little foreground here, and I'm going to play a little bit. I got some chain sword, and this is needle leaf or narrow leaf. I like to say needle. This is narrow leaf chain sword. I got quite a bit of it. This stuff was growing, immersed. It's already gone to flower, so we're going to give it a good root trim. Remove some of the remove the flower stalks, because all they're going to do is rot and dirty up your water. So you want to go ahead and turn those off before you plant them. Think of it as resetting the plant. That's all you're doing. I mean, I anticipate these guys going into shock for a day or two, but it's it goes with the territory, and they'll pop back up. So let's turn the camera. Y'all see what I got going on. And once again, I'm not using pin sets. I'm using my fingers. But I probably should use pin sets. So I think I'm going to. So real quick, let's get these guys popped in there. Just gonna get a little foreground action. If you guys ain't figured out the concept of this fish tank yet, I'm trying to tell you. Swords, people. Swords. And you know, I was thinking about it when I was making this video, right? Or as I'm filming now. Because you know the classic aquascape video. Ooh, you know, look at me planting plants. And then they do the fast forwarding thing, and they put the soft ambient techno music in the background, and it's just all surreal. Whatever. You want to watch this video and learn how to plant a tank? Y'all gonna learn. You gonna watch this video. I ain't fast forwarding nothing. You can do that on your own. So we got those in there. They look good. And I got a few more smaller swords that I'm kind of just gonna intermingle in here, if you will. Now keep in mind, swords are greedy. These actually came off a mother plant, already transformed. Got another Blairhy in here. They get huge. I only want that one in here because that's his tank. This is his tank. So we're gonna rock with these guys. Another little melon. I got a few of them. These actually came off a mother plant. And I'm gonna show you how you tell. You look at this little rosette and you can see where we snipped it off. I don't know if you can see that stem. We snipped it off, but they'll grow, like imagine there's a vine in between these two, and they grow out from the big plant, the mother plant, if you will, and that's how they reproduce or repropagate. That's another form of repropagation other than going to flower and going to seed. So it'll establish a runner, boom, 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 and you get the little rosettes. You can snip these off and they make new plants, which is what you have here. Once again, with these guys, I'm not using the pincets. I'm just gonna, you take your thumb or your index finger and you gently put it in the rosette right there in the crown, right there, and you kind of just, you just get it in there. Keep in mind, swords get big. They take up a lot of room. So as I'm looking at this layout, I'm liking the way it looks already. It's real simple, but it's doing something for me. I'm really contemplating whether or not I'm going to actually use this. And I'm erring on the side of not. But I think I might be able to tuck some of these smaller guys in here. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm really excited. This stuff makes you happy. So I got this Blairhy. No, only one. We're gonna plant this guy. And don't ask me what this is, I forgot. Seriously. But I promise you all, go look at my logs and put it in the description, or I'll post it after this video, because I'm gonna publish the video first because I gotta show off. And after I remember, I promise you I'll look this one up and say, hey, remember that plant? Let's finish up. Okay, so we're back. We got it filled. And it looks pretty good. I wanted to show it to y'all while it's still cloudy. And that's just actually air bubbles settling in. I mean, I literally just got through filling it. But it looks good. It looks good. When you're planting swords, with the exception of a few of your dwarf varieties, Amazon swords grow up to be big plants. Keep that in mind with your spacing. It looks like there's not a lot in here, but let's think 6 weeks from now, after these plants go ahead and transform and start taking off, they're all going to be just as big, if not bigger, than that Blairhy right there that's coming up through the wood. And I actually think I might have overcrowded this one. It don't look like it now, but you'll see in the coming weeks that this whole thing is going to be a jungle, which is how I like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. The counter is still going on. It's going strong. Count the ums. Watch the videos. Leave a comment. I'll send you a t-shirt. Thank you guys for sticking with me. We'll do updates on this one. We'll be making over the 55 Dutch across the way here. And then upstairs, my 10-gallon little nano project that I did with the exotic ferns and stuff. Well, the less than common, they're not exotic at all, but the different Java ferns, that one is ready for a trim and a re-sprucing. And then my little jungle nano that my rams are in, they're actually getting moved. I'm gonna take that Mopani wood out of that one, and we're gonna rescape that one too. And I know y'all been waiting to see the boost tank, so we'll do a video on the boost tank. Why not? Alright, thank you guys once again for watching. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting ready for a long weekend. I'll probably do another video this weekend. We'll see how I feel. But thank you guys for watching. This is Steve from Warrior Planet Tanks. You guys have the rest of a good week. I'm out. Keep tanking.